Welcome back to the Reier on YouTube channel, where it is time once again for No Sleep Teal, a show dedicated to discussion involving the National Football League's Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm Travis Reier. He's Evan Reier. And Evan, some PTSD revisited from a year ago, really, in the Jags 31-27 loss up at Cincinnati on Sunday. Wasn't exactly the same kind of finish, but it felt eerily similar to what we saw down in Miami to open the 2024 campaign. And now the question becomes, is this the same old Jags? Were there reasons for optimism from the latest performance against the Bengals, or maybe the truth lies somewhere in the middle?
I think it's somewhere in the middle. It's difficult to take away, positives from something like this, right? Because it's such a sour taste to let, victory slip through your fingers. Simultaneously, there were plenty of reasons to feel good about, various decisions the Jags have made in terms of personnel. You think about stuff like how good Bashal Tutin looked, when he got his opportunities, but man, it's just it's vibes of last year, and then also the 2023 loss to the Bengals with Jake Browning as the quarterback then too was it felt similar. It was a tight, high scoring game late, and the Jags just didn't do enough. And really, I know guarding Jamar Chase is really difficult. It really is, but dang, bro. Dang. You can't, Tyson Campbell just got cooked all game in every single spot that it really mattered, to the point where they kind of took Tyson Campbell off Jamar Chase at one point. They were trying to see if there was anything they could do. And really, the Jaguars secondary had no answer. It was rough.
14 catches for Jamar Chase on 16 targets.
Yeah.
That's a ratio you can certainly live with if you are the Bengals. Now, he just averaged 11.8. So in terms of yards per catch, didn't really kill you. But then you get T. Higgins on a big play there in the second half for the touchdown against Tyson. And, Tyson, it feels a little bit like Dollar General Surtain at this point with Tyson Campbell. And, Jarian Jones gave up one too, but I thought Jarian just had really good coverage on the play to Tinsley.
Yeah.
More so, it was a hell of a catch by 82 for Cincinnati.
No, everything that had to kind of happen for the Bengals did happen. That's one of the reasons why I think you can feel a little bit optimistic. That catch by Tinsley is just magical, really. I mean, that's a crazy grab. Things like the Travis Hunter PI on the last drive, that looked like really great coverage. I didn't think that was PI, but
I think he got rookied a little bit right there.
Those kinds of things, went the Bengals' way. Jags also, though, I mean, you got to be able to pull out the dagger and hit it and kill the other team.
After the Lloyd interception.
Yeah. I mean, they really couldn't do it. I actually liked, though, because I don't think it really would have, I didn't think it necessarily mattered, obviously, because the Bengals drove 93 yards for the game-winning touchdown. But I liked Coen going for it instead of kicking the field goal there at the end of the game. I think he recognized, I don't trust this defense right now. We gotta just win the game, and I appreciate him going for it. I didn't necessarily love the play call on that fourth down, but I at least liked the decision making there.
Yeah, they tried to run mesh into what looked to be a zone defense, the two crossers with BTJ as a part of that. And the Bengals were obviously sitting on the sticks, trying to prevent that first down. It was going to be tough, I think, even after the catch for Brian Thomas Jr. there. It also speaks to sort of the generational gap between you and me. Because my generation, I'm saying kick the field goal, take the three, make them drive the length of the field and beat you with a touchdown, which they ultimately did anyway.
Yeah.
Although the circumstances could change if you do go up 6 versus being up 3. There's something to be said about having that comfort and knowing we've got 3 in our back pocket. We can go ahead and try to win the game with a touchdown now when you're down only 3 versus 6. That's more of a tougher situation. But yeah, there were just so many elements to this game that played out exactly the way the Jaguars needed it to play out. Came out, asserted itself, opening drive right down the field, get in the end zone, 3 and out for the Jaguar defense on Cincinnati's opening possession. right back down there, about to go in again to make it 14-0, and you throw the pick. And I know Trevor was hit on the play, but it just sort of felt like even if he wasn't hit, it wasn't a great decision.
Yeah,
It wasn't going to end well regardless. It could have been better than the interception. I know Walker Little had some struggles, but Trey Hendrickson is going to do that to a lot of people
yeah.
in this league, right?
There's maybe three offensive tackles in the entire league that generally you trust against a
Mhm.
guy like Trey Hendrickson. And right now, Walker Little is not one of them. That's okay. I didn't think he was all that bad considering. Yeah, on that pick, I think really, I know he's kind of stepping back, trying to avoid pressure. If as a quarterback, I know for a fact you're told to throw to the like the back corner.
Mhm.
You do not,
Mhm.
if anything, that ball's going out the back. Like there's no way that you leave it short. And that's what he did there. And like you said, yeah. I mean, it's not a great decision. Shit. Like even if you throw it all the way into the stands and they call grounding, yeah, at least get to kick the field goal and you go up 2 scores, right? So no, it was a rough spot there. I definitely felt like the second pick wasn't on Trevor as much.
Mhm.
It kind of prompts, I think, a big discussion point that you've seen online about BTJ being soft. Yeah, and I don't know if you saw this on Twitter, but apparently BTJ lost like his best friend. His best
Mm.
friend like died like 3 weeks ago. So people had brought that up that he's not quite all there, whatever, blah blah. But it definitely seemed like there was a big takeaway from a lot of Jags fans. Jimmy Smith even said something on Twitter about it, saying
You
like,
can
"Hey,
count on 80.
BTJ's."
You can count on 82 to hit the social hot,
Oh
you
yeah,
know.
Jimmy Smith was like, "BTJ's scared. Like he's scared to catch the ball. He's scared to whatever." So
Had the
I
one
mean,
tweet, I'm so glad I never had to answer for being scared,
yeah,
basically, or
yeah,
drops
yeah.
on a football field.
And it's tough. It's tough because like I don't think that's all on BTJ, but at the same time,
Mhm.
you are kind of, I mean, you are the number one guy
Yeah.
on this team. You have to be able to go
You
catch the ball.
want the ball coming to you.
Yeah, and it felt, what it felt like? You know what he looked like yesterday? He looked like Calvin Ridley. He looked like
Eh,
Calvin Ridley when he was on the Jags. And
a little smoke
that's
free. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, smoke free, not really trying to fight for much.
Mhm.
Um
You
and
know, we
that's
heard from Liam this morning, and Liam mentioned a wrist ailment. Now, that may just be Liam trying to protect his guy. And
yeah,
if it is the case, good on Liam Coen, because we're
yeah,
only 2 games into the season.
yeah,
Amidst all the disappointment from yesterday, you still have to preserve your team with 15 games to go. And also with, as you talked about, the optimism, the good things to come from that performance. You're 1-1. You got divisional play cranking up this Sunday with the hated Houston
yeah,
Texans coming to town. You got the Texans coming off a short week because they go tonight at home against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You got the doubleheader Monday Night Football tonight. We like that when we get
yeah,
that early in the season. So there are some sort of mixed signals, some mixed narratives. Whatever the case, there's no doubt, as Robert Atzert here chimes in via the live show chat, and we appreciate that, Robert, something's going on with BTJ. Now, the second interception, that looked to me like that was zone coverage, and Trevor threw it more in a way that would be against man coverage. In other words, he led the
yeah. He let
receiver a little
BTJ.
bit. And I think BTJ has also witnessed some hospital balls
Yeah.
from 16
No, it's
in his
definitely
short
not. It's
time in
definitely
Jacksonville.
Trevor is definitely not guilt free on that one. I
Yeah.
definitely think that BTJ at least because even I mean it stinks because yeah, BTJ catches that ball, he's getting laid out, like he's getting lit up if he gets there. But he could, I mean, at the end of the day, at least like just
Mm-hmm.
hand
You
out
got
some.
you, yeah,
You got to hand out, like even just put it down,
right,
like just try to just whatever.
yeah,
BTJ
right.
literally goes like, no, 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 no. Like
Well, and he even caught an end breaker where he slid
yeah,
after the catch,
yeah, and it was just like,
and
bro, if you run right now, you might. He had one man to beat on that. So, it's worth noting real quick. 19 targets through 2 games for BTJ. 5 catches. Five
yeah,
catches on 19 targets is horrendous.
it's like 18%,
Yeah,
20%, something
yeah,
like that.
that's really really rough. If that's right now, if I'm Liam Coen and I'm Trevor Lawrence, it's not that I don't want to throw to BTJ or anything like that. You know, you need to get him his opportunities. But I mean, when you see what Parker Washington's doing with the ball after catch, when you see Dewami Brown doing what he's doing right now, those are my guys at the moment. Those are when we go up against the Texans next weekend. That's who I'm thinking. Okay, I want those guys to get 8 to 10 targets in this game because they're making plays right now. Brenton Strange, that's another one. With BTJ and Travis Hunter, really at the moment, it's not panning out. It's not clicking right away, and that's okay. But you gotta figure something else out in the meantime.
Parker Washington, I think, early in the game had something to do with that first interception from Trevor Lawrence. Not that I'm putting any of the blame really on Parker Washington, but Parker Washington went up and made a play for his quarterback on that 20-yard reception there just before the interception.
It was a great
20-yard reception. He went up and made a play for his guy. So Trevor, to me, on the ball in which he was hit, back to your point, he's probably trying to get that ball to the back pylon because he's confident in his guys right now. He just saw Parker Washington go up and make a play. Unfortunately, it didn't play out that way. Until further notice, and again, the run game was a real positive for this offense, which also makes it all the more difficult to swallow that loss because you were in a situation as the team that could run the football on Sunday where it was totally and put away opportunity for you. And that's what you want as a team offensively that's built that way, right?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I do think that maybe in an effort to maybe overextending in an effort to go up 2 scores to really try to put the game away, the Jags did get away from the run a little bit, in the second half. And I mean, Trevor Lawrence threw 42 times in a game that they led the majority of the game. So that's kind of a weird one,
That's not Tannehilling.
No, it's not Tannehilling. And you averaged 5 yards a carry, like across
all of your backs.
Across all the backs. ETN had 5.1, Tootin had 5.3. LaQuint Allen Jr., only 2 handoffs, but 13 yards. I mean, you ran the ball with anybody back there and you were picking it up. So it's just, I don't know really.
3rd and 2, and you throw the ill-fated corner out.
Yeah, I mean,
I think and Liam was interesting on that too, Ev, in that he said they had some runs called that they went away from.
Well, and then there's the clip that everyone's talking about online
with Trevor waving him off.
Nah, dude, I got this. I got this.
Let me cook, Liam. No, that we'll talk about too, because that has been, as you might expect, especially here locally, the topic of conversation. It's burned up social media and everything else in a way too. My stance on that is, if that isn't an issue that they're having every day, then it wasn't an issue on Sunday or coming out. As long as their relationship, as long as that wasn't indicative of their relationship already on a daily basis, then it's a big nothing what happened on Sunday.
No, for sure. I agree. People love, moments like that, like whatever sideline, argument or whatever type of little intensity, people love to highlight and exaggerate the importance of it. I don't think that's anything at all. I think at the end of the day, sometimes quarterbacks just trying to make, just probably even just trying to call the play that's being called. Cohen's, trying to tell him something or another. And he's like, look, we're about to snap the ball.
He's like, we've already had about 5 illegal shift penalties because I've been late getting out of the huddle, maybe. Yeah. And from my understanding, the Jags as a team, from an administrative standpoint, were late in a lot of ways. Offensively, they were late, even coming out of the first half and the halftime. They got back out on the field late. So there's still some things you're going through with a first-time head coach who also is calling plays, by the way.
Yeah. No, it's interesting because there's this team compared to last year and even 2023, there's like such clearly a higher ceiling, especially offensively. Like right now, what this offense looks like it can do, like on a week-to-week basis, is really, really encouraging. That being said, it's still very much a work in progress. I did think that the offensive line did show improvement, especially in the penalty sense. I know the 5 shifts was like that's a lot. Last week they had more actually. They had more offensive line penalties than they did this week. So whittling it down a little bit, but yeah, there's definitely still stuff cooking. It's still on the burner, so to speak. But I will say defensively, I mean, obviously the Bengals scored 31 points, but there were some positives there all the same. Like I think Jordan Lewis continues to be like such a clear cut, like awesome addition. Eric Murray, once again, pretty solid. Also, we kind of saw for the first time Eric Armstead be as good as he's supposed to be, which was cool. It was nice to see Eric Armstead consistently, kind of penetrating the offensive line and making things happen. So, I mean, there were little things here and there, but really at the end of the day, the Jaguars couldn't guard Jamar Chase or T. Higgins down the stretch. It was as simple as that.
They couldn't. And like just about any level of football these days, it comes down to 3 or 4, situations.
Right.
And I felt comfortable with the Jags defense out there.
Yeah.
Even in a 3-point game late.
Yeah.
What I would have liked to have seen is more of a commitment. And I know there's risk to this, but not saying you have to bring pressure. You don't have to bring 5 or 6, but that whole last drive kind of got its legs because to me, Browning was allowed too many layups early in the possession. I would have liked to have seen them box that in and try to take away more of that stuff and then force him to sit in there against even the Jags 4-man pass rush, and not have to blitz and see if you can get to him that way on 2nd and 8 and 3rd and 8. But it just didn't feel like they were able to get him in that spot.
If I'm remembering correctly, 2 of the 3 sacks earlier in the game came on 5+ rushers.
Okay.
Oluokun had a sack.
Right.
I think they had 1 sack in which they brought 4. If you're getting that kind of return when you're bringing more than 4 guys, against a backup quarterback, against an offensive line that clearly has issues, and a QB that you don't trust to hit deep shots down the field, I think I definitely think they let off the gas a little bit, and I'm not really sure why Caminelli was singing that, but I mean, at the end of the day, I'm not the one, on the sideline, right? But I definitely thought like at some point you gotta just bring 6 and just say we're gonna roll the dice on this one, because also, I mean, especially after the first 2 or 3 first downs, I mean, I don't see why you're not at that point. I mean, the Bengals are like looking like they're about to go score. You need to kind of put some chips out there. You need to go all in. But
all of that understood what we've just talked about. It still goes more on the offense because with 5 minutes left, Lloyd makes the big play. Didn't look, by the way, to be down.
Yeah.
Probably or should have been called a touchdown.
Yeah.
So now he joins Miles Jack, right?
Yeah.
And you've got the ball in a position to go up 10 and just put this thing to bed.
And you can't.
And you don't get the job done. So complimentary football looked really good to the Jags early on, but when they needed it the most, they failed.
When there. No, I mean, I will say, like, at the end of the day, you can say like, oh, the defense let up 31, but they had 3 takeaways. And this is
more.
4. Yeah.
Three more. They had 3 last week, 3 more this week. Yeah.
Yeah. Which I think they had 9 or 10 last year.
So
9. We're on pace to match that total next week. If your defense forces 3 takeaways, you ought to win the game. Like really at the end of the day, that ought to be a W. So I mean, that's why, and also in the modern NFL, at the end of the day, offenses are going to score. They're gonna put up points. There's just too much talent out there. So you have to go into games thinking, okay, they're going to score 20 or maybe more, but we need to turn the ball over. And right now the defense is doing that. It's really impressive.
Taking the ball away.
Compared to last year. I mean, it's night and day. It's night and day right now. So
the back end still gives up too many plays.
Yeah.
I mean, just look at yesterday for more of that. The 3 quarterbacks that played in the game, Jake Browning actually had the highest yards per attempt, not Joe Burrow, not Trevor Lawrence. And That's kind of problematic for the Jags too, because typically if you run the ball as well as the Jags do, it should be reflective in your big play ability in the passing game. But right now, when it comes to the Jags offense, I know we're bouncing around a little bit. I am most comfortable with those three backs and Brenton Strange. It just feels like to me, if you sort of call games and plan games in which you're more running back tight end centric and you can help protect your defense in a way by doing that, that looks like it might be the recipe as much as anything else. I know you got Travis Hunter. I know you got BTJ. Uh, but right now, Travis is just a guy in that offense at wide receiver, which leads me to this. If you were going to say snap or usage for Travis Hunter right now for this team, from what you've seen through two games, is he more useful to the defense or do you think he's more useful to the offense?
I would still say offense.
Okay.
Don't get me wrong. He had that really nice pass breakup, pushing Josephus out of bounds. And he definitely didn't deserve the PI call. So those are two like really nice plays on defense. But overall, I think what he's still providing as like a threat, even if he's not like the main playmaker on the offense right now, you still can't look over him as like a defense. Like I think what he's setting up for Dewami Brown, what he's setting up with, because I think part of the reason why running the football is working so well too is teams still have to respect BTJ. They have to respect Travis Hunter. They have to respect Dewami Brown. So I do think what he just having him out there, the presence, it matters a lot. Now, I get where you're coming from though, because with the way that the secondary is allowing big plays, that Travis Hunter might need to be out there. And shoot, I mean, really, after
he was out there more yesterday.
That's what I was going to say. It's like we might see him.
Now, Jarian's beat up a little bit, so
right.
That has something to do with it, I'm sure. But
we were saying like, oh, he might get 5 to 10 defensive snaps a game. I mean, after yesterday, I felt pretty good about him. I mean, we might see that go to 15, 20 now. It might be.
I'm almost to the point, Evan, where I'm ready to flip those snaps.
Yeah.
I'm almost ready to send him to the defense.
At least try it out, right?
Let him dedicate more time to the system and understanding, how to play with that side of the football, become more coordinated in that way. And then I can give him enough of the playbook offensively because Parker Washington is that guy.
Yeah, he's
right
really
now.
Good.
I mean, you want to talk about yards per catch. That was Parker Washington yesterday.
Yeah.
5 for 76.
40-yard reception that was close to his own legs.
You had Dewami Brown at 11.4 and BTJ at 12.3. I mean, and Dewami had the drop, which was critical in the end zone.
Yeah, that was a bad one.
You can't do that when you have a chance. That was another one of those chances to really put the Browns in a place that maybe wasn't recoverable from in terms of the difference on the scoreboard there.
Also, I'm at a point right now where you talk about, protecting Trevor or protecting the defense with, more action for the running backs and tight ends. I went Tootin to get like 4 or 5 receptions a game right now, because when he catches the ball out of the backfield, it's a major freaking problem for whoever's the first guy. He cooked those dudes yesterday on the 2 receptions that he had, the 24-yard grab and then the touchdown. I mean, he looks like an absolute menace in open space, and until someone makes a first tackle on him, I don't see why you don't just keep doing that. Like, I mean, it feels kind of like A-Chain, like Miami with A-Chain, like that vibe.
Love A-Chain too. I love it. 3 touchdown passes for Trevor on Sunday, 2 to running backs, about as easy as they could be too.
Yeah.
I mean, you didn't put the ball in harm's way. You got it to Tootin, you got it to ETN in ways in which, that's as easy as it's going to get for Trevor, who should have had 4 because Dewami drops the easy one there in the corner of the end zone. But I'm all for it. At this point, I will say this about Liam Coen's offense. Give me more of the running back and Brenton Strange stuff. I'm here for it. Give it to me.
I think in a lot of games too, that's what they're going to end up doing. I'm wondering if the Burrow injury and the way that the first half kind of played out, if Coen just felt like, okay, now we can really attack or what have you, or if Trevor felt that way. We're talking about, not certain plays
Yeah.
not being called. I'm wondering if Trevor was like, oh, well, it's time to eat.
Yeah.
Um, and uh, and if
Liam said today there were some runs called, but we
uh,
went away from
well, you
those.
went away from them. But so I'm wondering if, like they're going to rein that in a little bit, because when you're talking about games against like teams like the next 3 weeks, right? Next 4 weeks,
Uh-huh.
really 5 weeks, God, the next 5 weeks, all
Oh, geez.
challenging games. You're talking about teams that you're not going to necessarily
Mhm.
be able to like really get after. More than likely, you're not looking at like games where you jump out in front and you can potentially like really break it open. Against the Texans, that's not going to be easy. 49ers, Chiefs, Seahawks, Rams. These are all really,
Mac Jones' revenge game, maybe with the
uh,
49ers out
I'm
there.
begging for it. That'd be
Matt
sick.
cooking yesterday in New Orleans.
That would be very cool. I will say it would be very cool to see that.
Yeah,
But
there's a lot of talk too that BTJ misses Mac. Because you
yeah,
think about BTJ's rookie season,
yeah, Mac did a
it
lot of
was
work
more
for him.
Mac than it was Trev, wasn't it?
Well, that was the only thing they could do on that offense was Mac was like, well, BTJ down there somewhere, and but I mean, you talk about the defenses that the Jags are looking at over the next 5 weeks or so.
Mhm.
It's I think you don't really have much of a choice but to
Mhm.
stick to those running backs and to Britton Strange, at least in a very heavy way. Because yeah, I mean, those are some really good secondaries. Those are some really good defenses.
Well, it
Uh,
gives you the balance that you gotta have against
yeah,
those kind of teams. I mean, Doug Peterson offenses, Press Taylor, whatever, down the stretch. I mean, there was just no legitimate balance. I do
yeah.
like that in 2 games, what I've seen. If BTJ is right with Parker Washington coming along, how Liam likes to feature backs, the run game, you've got a lot better chance to be harder to defend than a Jaguar offense we've seen in a long time.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, really, this is already looking like higher potential
Yep.
than I would say anything from maybe since 2001, 2002. Like, I mean, really, like that 2017 offense ended up being very efficient, but that wasn't their game. That way,
Mhm.
they weren't, a shootout team. And even the 2022 team, despite having some shootout wins, kind of was still a very mixed bag. This feels considerably stronger. But yeah, man, it overall, I'm trying to keep centered, trying to
Yeah.
be like measured, because if you go win next week, then
Yeah.
whatever, then we'll.
That's the question for Liam Coen now as a first-time head coach.
It's how do
How
you
does
your
he
first loss?
process this?
Yeah,
How does he manage it?
yeah,
Because part of his narrative as an assistant was that he took it very personal in some situations, which is fine, which is good. I mean, you want it to mean that much to a guy, but and he talked about this in the locker room yesterday. That was interesting. The Jags released a post game video
yeah.
of
Of the
Liam
loss,
Cohen talking to
yeah,
the team after a loss. You don't ever see that
yeah,
on
that
these
was wild.
social media platforms. But I thought the messaging was good, and I was more interested in his tone and was he cracking while he was saying it?
Yeah, it
Or
was
did he
just yeah,
believe it? Did he really believe what he was saying? And I got the sense that it came off as if he did. And then today I thought he sounded good. So I'm not as worried, I guess, as much about that. But hey, you can hate, you can hate watch the Texans tonight if you're a Jaguars fan. You can be all
yeah.
in on Baker and the Bucks tonight, right?
No, I am curious about tonight. I will say, because I mean, really, the Texans. There's always people love bringing up the stat of teams that go 0-2 miss the playoffs. Like only like 15 to 20% of teams in history that have gone 0-2 have made the playoffs. So this week 2 game for the Texans is like kind of a must win feel,
Mm-hmm.
and I think this Bucks team is really good. I think this Bucks team is really good even after Cohen's left. Like I think they're dope.
I mean, this
So
this comes at a good time for the Jags too,
yeah,
because Cohen just left there. So
yeah,
stylistically and in terms of how you're going to attack
it's
the
going to be similar.
Texans,
The
it
tape is going to be very
should be
valuable.
carryover. I guess from the Texans' perspective, you're looking at it like you're getting a twofer in
Yeah,
terms of preparation.
which could be a
But
bad
Yeah.
spot for the Jags in that
Yeah, I
sense
guess
because you get
there's either way on
the
that one,
warm up
right?
against the Buccaneers. But
Yeah.
no, that's the thing is I think the game tonight's going to be really fun to watch just because I mean Texans kind of got to have it, but I think the Buccaneers are far better than maybe some people are realizing at the moment. I think the Buccaneers still win this game, and but I think it'll be really tight. When we come back later this week, I
Yep.
definitely want to also go ahead and look back at the rest of the schedule because it's funny how it works. You have a terrible season. You're supposed to have terrible opponents, and now the Jags are looking at like the Chargers and the Cardinals. They're like,
Yeah.
sheesh.
Yeah.
Like Rams and Seahawks, sheesh. Like,
Seahawks went into Pittsburgh and won by
yeah, dude,
14.
Seahawks look good. I mean, really, other than the Jets and Colts, there's not a whole lot of love on the schedule right now. Maybe the Raiders, maybe, but like it's gonna be interesting because a lot of the teams on the schedule look pretty good right now.
Going to be so much BTJ talk as Robert chimes back in here, Ev, in the live chat. Ever since camp, Robert said, and after that big hit in the preseason, that was the Steelers, right? In the
Yeah,
opener where he got rocked on that hospital ball from Trev. BTJ is playing scared. Washington should get the reps if BTJ can't get out of his own head. I mean, Liam said today during his Monday newser that right after that, there was going to be a conversation with BTJ. So
I
we'll
mean,
see
at
how
the
that
end of
goes.
that's the beauty of actually having a stacked receiver room.
Yeah.
Is that the Jags they have plan Bs and Cs that they can go to, and guys that are hungry for the ball. Parker Washington has been what 2 years and
Great.
change,
Yeah.
2 years and change of like just like putting his head down,
Yeah.
nose to the grindstone, doing his best, and he looks really strong at the moment.
Yeah.
Let him break it open.
Yeah,
Let's
he doesn't look like a number one in this
But he
league, but
plays like it.
I guess Steve Smith didn't really either.
Yeah.
Some guys can still make it
I
work.
think ball
And
I think
go ahead.
sorry, ball IQ. That's the
Yeah.
thing with Parker
And
Washington.
I want to put Travis on defense more, but it's hard to do that if BTJ isn't going to
Yeah.
give you more of the BTJ that you were anticipating going into the season. So a lot to consider throughout the upcoming week. We are, by demand, we're going to add a show of No
Yeah.
Sleep Teal during the week. So we won't get into the Texans as much. We'll do that coming up later in the week with Evan. So you'll want to check back in for that right here on No Sleep Teal on the Reier on YouTube channel. Ev, anything else before we get out of here live on a Monday?
Nope. Just I hope like Jake Browning like stubs his toe or something. But that's
Jake is working on some Trevor Lawrence money at this point. I mean, he's 2-0.
He's 2-0 against the Jags. I mean,
where's my 50?
Yeah, dude. It's crazy. He's our bogey. He's our just our natural born enemy, I guess. But no, we're good other than that.
The Bengals won, but it sounds like with Burrow out for maybe 3 months,
they
didn't they didn't really win.
One less team in the wild card race. Wild card.
All right, Ev, look forward to it later in the week here on the channel.
Sounds good. Can't wait.
Thanks to Party Girl Avondale, as always, for being the presenting sponsor for No Sleep Teal. Stop by the shop there in Avondale, 4205 St. John's Avenue. I've already seen the menu for the upcoming week. You're going to have some beef over egg noodles. You're going to have some turkey tetrazzini. You're going to have some great appetizers and desserts and sides that Heather and our crew are going to come up with you for you with right there.
I'm hungry.
At Party Girl Avondale. Ev's hungry. I am too. I think I'm going to go grab something real quick. All right, Ev, we'll do it again later in the week.
Sounds good. See you then.
For Ev, I'm Trav. Until next time, so long, everybody.